Sweet, right, we can just start. Hi everybody, here's a quick guide to the Stefan shelving and storage unit assembly. We're going to get cracking with it pretty swiftly. Obviously, as you can see, we've got all the parts laid out. I'm just going to give you a quick tour of the workspace. So, we've got our top shelf, we've got our drawers and all of our parts, and then we've also got our boxes here. And that's everything that's involved in the job. If you look up here, as if by luck, the top edge of our workspace is actually 2.56 meters, which is the same height as the room that this is going into, which is a wonderful stroke of luck. And then you can see we've just highlighted it here as well to make sure that we don't exceed that height when we're assembling, just to make sure that obviously when it's in its final situation it'll fit. So without further ado, let's get moving. So this is the way the components are going to be delivered, and we're going to start off by just placing the long box into the corner just like we have now. My assumption is that it will ship hopefully with the drawers tied inside, but if it's not, the drawers have to come out. Each drawer is numbered, as is the hole that it goes into. The drawers are all the same size, however following the numbers is always a good way to just ensure that it is there as it is here. So we're going to get those in. And this is now going to work as our base from which to build up this side of the unit. So we'll work on this wall first, and we'll start with the vertical tubes that are going on for the hanging rails and for supporting the wide shelves. So we've got each part numbered, 1, 2, 3, as you can see the numbers here on the top, and we'll keep those on for shipping. We've also used black tape just to mark out where our collars are going to live. We'll learn about that in a later date. But to start off, we're going to take tubes 1, 2 and 3. Here's number 3. Let's start with number 1 and do things in the correct order. And it's 1, 2, 3, as you would read. And we're simply just going to key the bottom into place. And for 2 and 3, that's number 3 and 2, 3. We've actually put the base fittings in place already, so that when the assembly starts, we've got our first location set already. We can be pretty loose with these for now. We're going to square everything up a little later. So shelf 1, shelf number. The shelves aren't numbered, and they don't need to be, as all 3 are the same size. So it's just a case of picking them one at a time in order to fit them on. As you can see, it's a pretty straightforward process of just lifting the shelf, locating the holes of the shelf with the tops of the tubes, sliding it down so it's nice concentric. And then each shelf is secured not only with the 2 collars below, but 2 above as well. And you can see what Case is doing here. So he's just dropping the collars over the top and sliding them down. Then we're going to tighten those in. And this will now lock that shelf from top and bottom, and that can be tightened as is required. And it's worth noting that there is a specific order that things go on in order to leave the rails and the shelves in the layout that we want them. So the next thing is going to be for the first hanging rail. And as you can see, it's the same process again. Using our offset fixings, we locate the centre of the fixings, and just drop down here. And it's just going to sit for now just in between these 2 pieces of tape. So the bottom edge of the fitting is sitting on the top edge of the tape that's furthest down. Smoky here. Dusty. Excellent. The next one up is the shelf again. Excuse me. It's the fittings for the shelf that are next. And we'll join it too. just slide it down. And again, it's the bottom edge of the fitting to the bottom edge of the tape, top edge of the tape, excuse me. Okay. And again, we pick our shelf. Why not do it as a two? It's got above head height, it's always nice to do it as a two. So again, we're just locating that hole on the shelf. Just bring that down and leave it in place. Again, we're going to be able to adjust later on if we need to, so as much as we want things to be level as we're building, we don't need to worry too much because we'll always have an opportunity to come back and tidy things up as we proceed. Over the top, tight to the top of the shelf, and key that in. Again, the shelf is now secure. We'll do one more. And again, top edge of the tape, bottom edge of the fixing. Just lock that into place. One more shelf. One more fitting. Go. Okay, top hanging rail, same as the bottom. The offset fitting with the tube on the front side of the vertical tube. 1, 2. And again, we've got our tape here just to help us out. Maybe easier with a little step ladder if needed. Might bring one in for the rest of this job. Yes, he does. Excellent. And now we're in a location. Now we're in a situation to put our locating wall fixings on. Got 1, 2, 3 there as well. Yeah. Okay. Going to go again, just right on the top, is it, Kez? There's this tape here, yeah? Yeah, that's that one. So again, bottom edge of fixing, top edge of tape, and lock that into place. Is this a good time to suggest fixing to the wall now, or? No. So these are going to be our wall fixings. That's what we're going to use to tether the unit to the wall on this side. But we're just going to hang fire on doing so until we finish the rest of the assembly. So as a next element, we're going to build the console at the end of the room. We're going to build that and have it in location ready for the final move to get the top shelf on. So we'll leave the drawers out for now. And we're going to kind of come into the sort of workspace that's available.
You won't be able to get the pipes.
No. Obviously using the doorway maybe to just extend the workspace if you're looking to do it in this situation. If you do have more room outside the room, it would be recommendable to maybe do this in a bigger space if possible. Certainly, using the doorway for extra extension, a good way to look at it. Cool.
carry it to people once
Yeah.
it's up?
Yeah, it's within 2 people's reach to get it to move it. So, so this is the rear edge, and this is the top. So each piece is annotated with the top and the bottom. So if Kez would just point out, so on the rear edge, on the top, there is a stamp for top, 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 and top. So obviously we don't want this to be on show, we want this on the back side of the unit. Keep that in mind whilst assembling. I'm just going to go back to our workspace. Okie doke. So either box can be in all 3 places, is that right? So I'm just going to start with the first one available. So we want the top edge facing down.
You want it facing this way so that you can get access. Because you've got colours on one side as well.
Okay, got you. And we're going to start by having the rear edge facing this way, we've got the front edge facing this way. Does it matter which way that is?
No.
Doesn't matter which way that is. Confirmation there of that fact.
This is the back one.
So for the rear one, you can tell which one it is because we've added a fixing bracket with a small wooden plate on the back just to expand that out to the wall. There are 2 of those. So obviously we need to make sure that these line up with the rear holes. So again, just reference where you're marking for the top edges. We want to make sure that we're moving in the right direction. So I'm just going to take this tube now and start to thread it through. So one fixing on.
The fixings are the other bottom, but
Base fixings on.
I bought these 2.
And as I'm coming in, Kez is just having the 2 columns on the inside in place, ready. I'm just going to guide that through. And I'm just going to come in and show you that in a little more detail. So you can see obviously the base fixings in place. Just slide that in for me, Kez. Sure. That's our rear. And then these are in place here. And then the top one just to slide down into place as well. Now we're going to lock these in. Obviously these are fairly substantial pieces of timber, so we just want to lock these up and make sure that it's nice and secure.
Face these ones this way.
Notice our case is just facing this top one, facing forwards towards the front edge of the unit, so that when it's up and assembled in place, we're going to be able to see those screws as a nice feature on the item. Okay, now that we've got that detail out of the way, Kez and I are going to proceed to assemble. So this might be a little bit quiet for 5 minutes or so, but we're just going to get moving and you'll be able to watch the whole thing happen in front of you. Sweet, let's go. So we've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, yeah, we don't need to put the other 2 boxes in place or anything, no, just slide them down after.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just stand it up after this, yeah. And then slide the boxes down, or is that inadvisable?
You can do, but once these are all locked in, they don't move.
I'll speed it with you. I'll do it, you'll be able to do it.
Yeah, we found that when we built it, put each one on top of each other.
It's too heavy.
Fair enough.
Carry the next one.
Yeah, cool.
So when you're like, when it's halfway through, you can slide the fittings in there. Yeah, keep spinning. Now I'm sure this is the easiest way to do this. Where's the next game? So for the next stage, another 4 fittings to go on. Just make sure that we've got a good angle here for what we're doing.
Yeah,
Agreed?
I've also done some bits and pieces. The flanges, they line up in here.
Gotcha.
Slow down.
So the width of the roof has got here, isn't it? Okay, so now for the final stage. So for the last stage, we've got a certain way that we need to do this, because obviously here we have all this lovely space to work in. But when it comes to assembly at your address, some of the space is a little more limited. So obviously we've already got to about here in the room. So to make sure that we don't exceed both the height and the size of the room, we're going to put this on in a slightly different way. So obviously it's going to go on in a different orientation. Just lift it up and we'll spin around, it's fine. You spin around that side. So we need to enter the room this way. With the tip facing down. Like that. Yeah. I think so. Yeah. And so we're going to enter the room in this way. And the reason being, obviously, we don't want to exceed a certain height. So from here now, just keep in mind where that wall is. Hold up. There you go. You've got a mallet or something like you just knock that. Your end needs to just move a bit. Your end's the most flexible, isn't it? What you can do. Watch your fingers. There's a lot of weight coming down here. Just leave it for a sec. Take the weight of this on. Take the weight of this. And there we go. So obviously there's a slight slant here. But once we secure it in place,
Might be a good idea to attach it to the wall.
yeah. And this might be a good point to tether to the wall as well, just based on that forward motion. But we're just going to leave that now. So it's nice and secure. We've secured our base, and we've secured our rails. We've now secured our top, without exceeding the height of the room, nor the width. Excuse me. And with that in mind, we can now move the final piece into location. So obviously it's worth noting that this is heavy work. So we recommend certainly two able bodies, maybe even three depending on comfort and confidence. And obviously we've still got a limit to the width of the room, so let's just make sure that we're considering that as we move in. So I'm probably using a part of the room that doesn't exist here, so maybe I need to be here instead just to make sure that I'm not intruding on this space. So now just 1 second, I'm going to go up my step ladder, so stay in anchors. And I'm going to shove this and locate it. Are you able to just shove that in for me? Yeah. You lift it up and I'll leave it. Yeah. Yeah? Just keep it. one point in here, and my second's not far away. So if I just raise this, will you just give that a shove? It's stuck there as well. So maybe now just release this. Push that back. This one? Yeah. Just a palm there. And there we go. It does need to be like that, doesn't it? Because there's no space there, or you would still doesn't exist. So obviously we've taken a little license with the space we've used there, but as you can see it's heavy work and a little fiddly, so do be wary of that. Once this is in now, we can just shove this to the rear, and we've got our fixing points at the back here, ready to secure to the wall. So here and here, although we don't quite touch on our walls here, are great. And then it's just a simple case of adding the drawers, which we'll do. They're all numbered. Okay, so each drawer's lettered and numbered. So we've got A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2. As long as A, B and C, as long as the drawers go with the same unit, A, B and C can be mixed and matched, as long as 1 and 2 always go with the box itself. So we've got A1 here, and then A2 back there. And that pretty much is that, right? Yeah. Okay, so there we go. I'm sure that some elements of our video are slightly misleading due to the size and the space available, but you can see the process that we needed just to make sure that we keep within certain parameters. Obviously, if the height is there, this can go in first and this can go on second, but based on the way that the room works, we figured we'd show an alternative method as a priority, just in case that tight space is as tight as we think it is. And now is the time to go around and quickly just check everything and adjust. This looks slightly unlevel due to the way that our room here is. The floors are level here, unfortunately, so we're not able to be completely precise with the way that it looks here, but that certainly should cover the assembly and the execution of that system. So, yeah, enjoy. If there are any questions that you have while you're constructing, Urban Grain is only a phone call away, and we look forward to being able to help you if it's required. If not, best of luck, please enjoy your furniture, and thanks for choosing Urban Grain. Cheers.